prayer today in the Oval Office with all of those paintings from Reagan to Andrew Jackson to Abraham Lincoln, Washington, all around you. Why did you go to that moment?
Well, you know, I think it's relevant because we're not just in a health crisis, but we're in a spiritual crisis, and those things are connected. And you know, so many times during my campaign, traveling across the country, I sense that people are feeling disconnected. We have a whole generation of kids that feels alienated, dispossessed. They are in a existential crisis, not only because their health is, you know, 77% of our kids can't qualify for military service. There's a purposelessness in their lives. And
some kids' physical health, and this is not towards, I mean, let's be real. No health defective, like they're not health defective or anything. They're just lazy and have no self-control. Like that's 70%. Like, bro, I really do hate when people try to hinge up on the fact. If you ask these fat asses themselves, they'll try to give you some excuse. That, oh, it's in my genetics. Oh, it's this and that, thyroid, this, that, and the third. I'm just like, you know what? I can't believe you because all y'all fat asses have the same excuse.
So no medical or physical ailments, but they got every excuse in the world and all the physical limitations as to why they can't do 10 push-ups or run a mile.
Yeah, you know, it's almost disrespectful for those who actually can't, you know, lose the weight.
Right.
It's because think about it, like all of them say the same thing. So I never know if you're truly telling me the truth. Like, oh, I'm fat because of this and that. I'm like,
or you have a true condition.
Yeah, I don't know if you're telling me the truth or you just trying to use the lies that everybody else can use.
And no sense of usefulness or effectiveness or connectedness to their communities. And that drives also the chronic disease epidemic and the epidemics we're seeing of depression, of suicide, of alcoholism, of drug addiction. I think we have to address all of those things at the same time. We can't just say we're going to make you physically healthy. We have to.
That's a tall order.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, we all have to learn that, you know, we need to get up in the morning and not think about what am I going to do to make myself happy today. We have to get up and say, what am I going to do to make myself useful today, to be useful to my friends, to my family, to my community. And that paradoxically is ultimately the path to happiness, that connectiveness that you get from doing, you know, from doing good things, from being of service to others.
And you're in what I was reading so much about today, and we're going to get to the, you know, the usual criticism, but the addiction community responded to your confirmation today by saying this gives hope to those who themselves have struggled at one point in their lives with either drug addiction or alcohol addiction. Not only can you turn things around, but you can move to a totally different plane of accomplishment in spirituality. That was a big message to the people out there, millions to this moment who are struggling. Speak to that.
And
I ain't gonna lie though, this man was a pro. This man was a pro drug user. I'm gonna tell you why. Because in that interview that I seen with this man, he looked high as hell. The man looked faded during the interview and it's like when he was younger. And I'm just looking at this man like, bro, his eyes is low. He's kind of slurring his words, but he's articulating himself pretty damn well. And I'm almost sure this man is high while during this interview. And I'm just like, oh shit, this man was a goddamn pro at this.
Quite skilled. You got to be skilled to be slizzard as hell and to still get your point across.
And also, he's too damn smart to be doing that dumb shit.
And shout out Coach Shira Leotards, $5. The weight is the easy part. They can't pass the ASVAB. That's the test that they give them in the military. Can't read and write. Just experienced that twice with my boys telling the stories.
Damn.
God damn.
He's like, bro, I can only imagine. Looking over some of these papers like, these niggas can't read. Like, can he read? Like, bro, does this sound like a proper assent? Did you damn near want to go in there? We're talking about 18-year-olds. You almost want to go in there and be like, bro, where's your school at? We need to take them out. Like, for real.
That declining literacy rate, the DOE is supposed to be doing their job, but they over here sending this type of product to the military. Bro, they can't even read and write.
Bro, what hood you came out of? And this is the kind of crazy thing when like these libs defend the Department of Education. I'm like, oh, please defend that same part of education that's failed almost every black community in America. Please defend that some more.
And I'll be honest, it's even worse because you never really had to be smart to go into the military. Actually, that's what they told the dumb kids to do.
Dumb weak. Yeah, bro, that was for the DNC students.
Bro. So to think that these kids are going to the military and Bro, now they're not even at the military standard.
Yep.
That's insane.
Or the A students with a little bit of bad boy.
Right.
I think it's the same thing as,
Some A students.
addict.
Shout out Melissa Taylor though. Oh yeah, there was definitely you didn't have to be dumb, but that's what they suggested the dumb kids to do.
Yeah.
Shout out Melissa Taylor, $10, just showing some support. Ain't had too much to say. We do appreciate that. One of the members as well.
Most addicts like myself feel like I feel like I was born an addict, and that that these impulses are biologically hardwired into us, and whether you feel that way or you feel you became an addict or an alcoholic later on in life, the only way to overcome that biological impulse is with a spiritual realignment, a spiritual fire. And so I think, and that comes from connectiveness to community. And, alcoholism and addiction are a disease of isolation. People end up in jails, institutions, and dead, or in bathrooms by themselves, or insulated by secrets. But they withdraw from the community and from connectiveness. And the process of getting sober is a process of reconnecting to community.
Well, minutes before your confirmation vote, there was someone who wasn't too happy. Watch.
Previous HHS secretaries have had a pharmaceutical industry background, have been a state health commissioner.
And how did that work for us?
Cry some more.
Actually, bro, this almost disrespectful. Do you remember our last health secretary? Do you remember our last one?
The transsexual?
Yes, he. Yes,
He, she.
Yeah, the he, she. So, yeah, bro, if we want to talk about a health secretary, why can't you give us a health secretary with decent mental health? Bro, but then you want to talk about RFK Jr. Our health secretary wasn't even in shape. Our health secretary was a fat ass transgender. Like, that's what we were working with. That's what we had. And now we got a fit ass old man and y'all complaining. Like, really?
Have run health systems, have been governors. Somebody who has had a background in actually administering the programs that HHS administers. Which of these qualifications does RFK possess? You know the answer. None of them.
I mean, at the top, he just gave away the ghost, referencing, you didn't work for the pharmaceutical companies. How dare you? So he said the quiet part out loud there.
The qualifications that Senator Schumer is talking about there are the very qualifications that got us to where we are today. These are the people who got us to be the sickest country in the world. We are 4.2% of the world's population. We buy 70% of the pharmaceutical drugs on Earth. We spend 2 to 3 times what.
This is what I was alluding to earlier. We feed these people these poisonous chemicals throughout their early childhood development, throughout their teen years and adulthood, and then we funnel them right over to the pharmaceuticals. It's like a pipeline. It's like a pipeline that, I'll be honest, the globalists, the CEOs, and the capitalists continue to benefit off of.
So I ain't gonna lie, RFK Jr. should be the one guy I think we should all be kumbaya. RFK should be that one guy that we should just sit there and be like, you know what? This is just separate from Trump, man. We try to make America healthy again. We trying to take the poison out of fit this back. I mean, yeah, this is the one guy that Republicans and Democrats should all throw our hands up. All right, we agree that this is a problem. This is the guy for the job. All right, cool.
Other countries pay for healthcare, and we have the worst health outcomes. We literally have the sickest population in the world. Those are the people that got us there. We do need a break. We need somebody different who can come in and say, I'm going to be a disruptor. I'm not going to.
We got the sickest population in the world. I wonder why certain foods that they sell internationally, if you turn around the back of the box and look at the ingredients, these shits is outlawed in the EU. They don't sell this shit the same way they do in the EU. All this processed food, this chemical dye that we use, they use natural dyes over in other countries.
Yeah, or Muslim countries. Yeah, Muslim countries as well. They don't play that.
European countries as well. It's not. It's like in America, they could just sacrifice on the quality because they know we're gonna buy it. It's insane, and they've been allowed to do it. You gotta appreciate an initiative like Make America Healthy Again, RFK, what he's trying to do. It's like you said, it doesn't really matter about political affiliation. There's just a net positive benefit.
You know, it'd be crazy. Imagine if we're paying more just to put these preservatives in.
It's no cheaper than it is anywhere else. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
it's either the same or more.
Yeah,
food industry and the pharmaceutical industry run health policy anymore. We're gonna turn health policy over to people who are actually concerned with public health.
Are all drug company grants going to be done away with anyone on a advisory board or anyone who's connected to the federal government?
The panelists in HHS, in FDA, CDC, and NIH, there are panels that are made up of outside individuals, outside experts who come in and set policies. They set, for example, the food triangle, the food pyramid, the nutrition guidelines, the vaccine guidelines, the medical standards of care. In the past, those people, almost all of them, have severe conflicts of interest. Oh, and that's not good for our country. And we've seen what's happened. You have Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid.
What's the top 3 additives that you hope in your role you'll be able to basically remove from our food supply?
Well, I would say, first of all, I believe in freedom of choice. If you want to eat Twinkies, you ought to be able to eat them, but you ought to know what's in them. So a lot of what I'm going to do is about radical transparency.
Hey, can you imagine come with that Twinkies and is reading to you like a cigarette package? Like, yes, this product is known to cause like inflammation, DNA damage, and possible cancer. Like, is you still gonna eat that Twinkie if it got a label like that on there? I would hope not.
It should honestly come with that consumer warning. I mean, it almost does to a degree, but most people don't turn around and check the nutritional facts. I mean, but this type of foods were meant to be enjoyed in moderation.
I mean, they do kind of keep it secret from you in a way because it's not into nutritional facts, and you'd have to look at the ingredients and pretty much know what they're saying. Like, if you don't understand what that word is in the ingredients, look it up and find out what it does. That's mine.
No, exactly. I mean, the age of access we live in, there's almost no excuse.
Yeah, that's true.
Making people understand, allowing people to understand, and empower them with understanding that if you eat that, it may seem cheap.
And don't even just look up the chemical. Look at how it affects your body over time.
Not for real.
That should be enough information for you to make a decision right there.
Hey guys, I see a lot of good comments in the chat, man. Hey, look, you guys can super chat that in for $2 and up. We'll go ahead and read it out loud and react to it. We appreciate the support, guys. But if not, go ahead and double tap that screen and like the video. We appreciate the support, and go ahead and keep commenting in the chat, man. It keeps the show engaging. Let's go.
But it's going to cost you in the long run. You're going to get diabetes, etc. There are certain additives. We have 10,000 additives in our food. The Europeans have 400. Many of the additives that we have are just illegal in Europe.
All right, a lot of news happening, as it is every day. And moments ago, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was sworn in as the new Health and Human Services Secretary as President Trump creating the...
All right, man. And hopefully y'all enjoyed that video. That was a short little interview with the Fox News reporter and RFK. Let's transition over here into this Piers Morgan panel. They had a lot to discuss.
Lord knows we're going to see more of those Tulsi Gabbard interviews and RFK interviews. Yeah, those are going to be coming up real soon.
Kash Patel coming up as well. A lot to cover here in the next few days.
Actually, it's crazy. You know that band Steve Bannon came out with an interview?
Did he really?
Yeah. I got you on it later on.
All right, shout out. Actually, you know what? Before we transition into this Piers Morgan panel, there was a video between Trump and the Indian Prime